The dazzling Hollywood lights, the thunderous applause echoing through the Jimmy Kimmel Live studio. Tonight, one of the brightest stars, Sofia Vergara, steps onto the stage to promote her heartfelt project. However, what began as a routine interview quickly escalated into a fiery clash, leaving her to walk off the set in the stunned silence of millions of viewers. This moment redefined how the public views this star and the glamorous world of entertainment. Before diving into the story, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. The atmosphere in the studio was thick with anticipation. Hundreds of audience members filled the seats, their eyes fixed on the wings of the stage, where an icon was about to appear. Cameras were ready, spotlights blazed, and the production crew worked at a breakneck pace, ensuring everything was perfect for a stellar performance. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Jimmy Kimmel Live. Tonight we have a very special guest. She's not only a talented actress, a captivating icon, but also a businesswoman shaking up the industry. Please welcome our queen, Sofia Vergara. Amid vibrant music and explosive cheers, Sofia Vergara appeared, her radiant smile ever present and her energy infectious. She gracefully waved to the audience, then gave Jimmy a warm hug. "It's so great to have you here, Sofia. Every time you come, you bring a fresh breeze, an indescribable excitement to this studio," Jimmy said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Sofia laughed loudly, her voice bright and hearty. "Oh, Jimmy, you're exaggerating. I'm just a simple Colombian girl here to have fun. But I must say, your stage always makes me feel at home, except my home doesn't have this many blinding lights." Jimmy chuckled, glancing at the studio lights. "That's because we need to make sure everyone sees your radiant beauty, Sofia. Honestly, you look even more stunning tonight. Must be because no one's keeping you up at night anymore, right?" He winked, alluding to her recent divorce. Sofia kept her smile, but a fleeting sharpness crossed her eyes before she deftly responded. "Oh, Jimmy, you know my sleep is always... But come on, I'm not here to talk about sleep. I have a new project I want to share with everyone." Jimmy grinned wider, glancing at his cue cards but clearly not intending to stick to the script. All right, Sofia. We'll get to your new project. But first I have to ask about the essence that makes Sofia Vergara legendary," he said, his tone shifting to playful teasing. "We all know you're Hollywood's top captivating icon. What's the secret? Or since you're freer now, do you have more time to take care of yourself and explore new opportunities in both work and personal life?" The audience erupted in delight, with scattered applause. Sofia maintained her smile, but her lips tightened slightly. She knew exactly what he was implying. "Jimmy, you really know how to make a girl blush," Sofia said, her Colombian accent still sweet, but with a sharper edge. "My secret? Simple. Get enough sleep, drink my premium Colombian coffee, and most importantly, stay busy with work. When you're too busy to overthink, you'll always shine." She skillfully steered back to her work. Jimmy pretended to sip water, laughing heartily. "Your coffee, huh? Sounds like a smart business move. Like this coffee will keep you awake to find new love. Don't you think? Or are you looking for a real-life Mr. Modern family, but one who doesn't demand too much evening time?" Jimmy pressed on, his eyes fixed on Sofia's reaction. Sofia's eyes darkened slightly. She had endured a noisy, exhausting divorce, and it wasn't a topic she wanted turned into entertainment on national TV. She took a deep breath, her smile still in place, but now resembling a mask. "Jimmy, you're a funny guy, and I love humor. But you know what, Jimmy? Some things in life, especially when it comes to the heart and family, aren't a sitcom script. I'm here to talk about something I'm truly passionate about, something that deserves seriousness and respect. That's Dios mío coffee." She firmly shifted the topic. "This isn't just any coffee. It's the flavor of my homeland, of the farmers who work tirelessly under the Colombian sun. It's how I want to bring a piece of Colombia's soul to the world. We've worked hard to ensure every bean is grown sustainably, benefiting the community." Sofia spoke, her eyes alight with pride, trying to convey her seriousness, but Jimmy seemed uninterested. He interrupted with a dismissive wave. Okay, Sofia, soul of Colombia, got it. Sounds grand. But honestly, who cares about sustainability or beans when they can watch Sofia Vergara holding a coffee cup and striking a sexy pose on Instagram? Don't you think that's what sells the product? Or are you going to sit here talking about coffee production while everyone just wants to see you shake your hips a little? Jimmy laughed loudly, trying to rally the audience. His words hit like a bucket of cold water. He not only trivialized her efforts but blatantly reduced her project to a gimmick, exploiting her appearance. Sofia's smile slowly faded. Her face remained remarkably calm, but her piercing blue-green eyes turned icy, locking onto Jimmy. She was no longer the humorous, easygoing Sofia. She had become an entirely different woman. Jimmy, still oblivious to the gravity of her shift, continued, "Come on, Sofia, just a little. I bet everyone would go wild if you brewed a cup of coffee right here on stage and did a sexy dance. Picture it, Sofia Vergara and the sexy coffee dance. It'd go viral instantly." He laughed heartily, clapping and signaling the audience to join in. The crowd began to clap and chuckle, thinking it was just typical banter, but Sofia didn't budge. Her eyes remained fixed on Jimmy, expressionless. No laughter, no smile, just a tense silence. "Sofia, the crowd's excited," Jimmy said, gesturing to a stagehand who brought out a tray with an oversized garish sombrero, a ridiculously tied patterned scarf, and a thick fake mustache. "We've got some props to make this interview a bit more authentic. I bet if you put on this hat and say "Hola mi gente" in your signature Colombian accent, the audience will lose it. It'll be a million-view moment, don't you think?" Jimmy held up the sombrero, offering it to Sofia with an expectant grin, his eyes gleaming with anticipation of a viral moment. He didn't stop there, adding a demeaning suggestion. "Or if you want to be a bit freer, we could try this." He smirked, pulling out a cardboard cutout of a tiny bikini and placing it next to the hat. "You could act out a scene like you're on a Miami beach. The audience wouldn't be able to look away." Jimmy was certain Sofia, with her famous humor and self-deprecation, would play along, maybe even ham it up. That was his usual formula for success with stars. But Sofia didn't move a finger. Her eyes stayed locked on Jimmy, devoid of expression. No forced laughter, no polite smile. Her face, usually vibrant and charming, was now a still, chilling lake. The sudden shift sent an eerie hush through the studio. The audience's murmurs quieted. They sensed something off. A real tension creeping in. "Jimmy," Sofia's voice rang out, lower than usual, stripped of any humor or playfulness. "Who do you think I am? A washed-up comedian who'll throw on a ridiculous hat and play the fool for you? Or a dumb Latina who only knows how to flaunt her body for attention?" Jimmy flinched. His smile froze like plaster. "What, Sofia? You're kidding, right? Everyone loves your humor. This is just a fun interview. We want the audience to see an entertaining, relatable side of you." "This isn't humor, Jimmy. This is disrespect," Sofia cut in, her voice not loud but carrying a weight and resolve that silenced the studio. Each word was clear, resounding. "You know, I've been in this industry for over 30 years. I've built my career with smiles, relentless hard work, 16-hour days on set, and tears facing illness and prejudice. I've overcome so much to stand here today, not to be turned into a clown in your circus of amusement." She stared directly at Jimmy, unflinching. "I'm not your puppet, Jimmy." Jimmy tried to respond, but his words seemed stuck in his throat. "Come on, Sofia. Don't take it so seriously. We're just having a little fun. This is an entertainment show. The audience wants that." He glanced at the director and producers for support, but their panicked expressions and rapid head shakes told him he'd gone too far. Sofia repeated, her tone dripping with sarcasm, disdain in every syllable. "You call this fun? Fun is when I share about my Dios mío coffee project, about the Colombian women working tirelessly to bring the best coffee beans to the world. Fun is when I get to talk about passion, culture, and values I believe in. Not when I'm forced to act ridiculous, wear a sombrero, and pretend to be in a bikini just to boost your YouTube views." She stared through Jimmy, her gaze piercing. "You think I'm a doll for you to manipulate? An actress who only screams and jokes with her accent? You're insulting me, Jimmy. And more importantly, you're insulting your audience, who deserve better than this." The audience began to murmur louder. A few started clapping hesitantly, then more boldly, supporting Sofia. They felt her sincerity, her justified anger, and her hurt. This wasn't the carefree, vibrant Gloria Delgado Pritchett they knew, but a fierce, dignified Sofia Vergara standing up for herself and her values. Jimmy Kimmel had unwittingly awakened a lioness. Jimmy, visibly shaken and losing control, tried to defuse the situation. He lowered the sombrero and bikini cutout, his face paling. "Sofia, I'm sorry if you felt offended. That wasn't my intention. I just thought the audience loves your fun, approachable side, and we wanted to bring joy." "Fun and approachable doesn't mean foolish or exploitable, Jimmy," Sofia shot back, her voice firm as steel, unrelenting. "I don't need to act foolish or flaunt my body for people to love me. I've worked hard to become Sofia Vergara today, not a copy of anyone or a marketing product packaged in a sombrero or a cheap bikini." She looked at Jimmy with disdain. "Put those things away. They don't belong to me, and they certainly don't belong on this show if you want to keep any shred of dignity." Jimmy was speechless. He'd never seen Sofia like this. Her usual humor and ease were gone, replaced by a sharp, commanding and furious woman. The studio fell into a suffocating silence, broken only by the hum of air conditioning and the audience's heavy breathing. All eyes were on Sofia, waiting for her next move, a mix of fear and admiration rising. Sofia lightly brushed her hair, a simple but powerful gesture. She didn't stand, but her presence dominated the room. Her voice was low, clear, and unwavering, echoing through the studio. "You call this fun, Jimmy?" Sofia began, each word like a sharp blade. "You call turning a woman into cheap entertainment, using stereotypes and belittling her efforts, fun? Do you know how hard I've worked to stand here today? I'm not some has-been actress you can toss ridiculous props at and expect to dance for your amusement." Jimmy tried to respond, stammering, Sofia cut him off, her eyes burning. "Jimmy, how many years have you been in this business? You're a professional host, you know where the line is. Or do you think because I'm Colombian, because I have an accent, because I've played comedic roles, you have the right to turn me into a puppet for your jabs?" She looked directly into the camera, addressing millions of viewers. "I am Sofia Vergara. I'm a woman, a mother, an actress, a producer, a businesswoman. I'm someone who survived cancer, came to this country with nothing, and built a career many dream of. I don't need to prove that by wearing a foolish hat or shaking my hips on your stage." The audience began clapping, first scattered, then a resounding wave, mixed with shouts of "Amazing Sofia." They felt her raw honesty and fury. The tension was palpable. Jimmy Kimmel had lost his usual confidence. He looked around for support from his team, but they were in a frenzy. "Come on, Sofia, don't make this complicated," Jimmy said, his playful tone gone, replaced by defensiveness. "I'm just trying to make an entertaining night. That's the nature of this show." "The nature of this show, Jimmy? Is it to use guests as tools for ratings?" Sofia retorted instantly, not letting him interrupt. "You think entertainment is mocking others' efforts and putting them in awkward spots? Entertainment is when the audience sees something real, something inspiring, not staged antics for cheap clicks." Jimmy stood up, trying to assert authority. "Look, Sofia, I don't know what's gotten into you, but this is my stage and I'm the host. I'm trying to do my job." Sofia stood too. Her height, combined with her stunning gown, amplified her commanding presence. She faced Jimmy without flinching, despite his taller frame. "Your stage, Jimmy. I'm here because I chose to be, because I thought I could share something meaningful, not to dance to your tune or make a viral video you'll profit from and forget." The studio held its breath. This was a raw, unscripted confrontation. The audience's murmurs grew, a mix of supportive claps and shocked whispers. The crew shouted into headsets, signaling Jimmy to cut to commercial, but he seemed frozen, his eyes flashing with anger and confusion. "I don't understand why you're reacting so strongly," Jimmy said, trying to lower his voice to regain control, but his tension was clear. "This is a normal interview. We're just You're not the only one I've teased. You're right. You tease a lot of people. But you know, Jimmy, there's a line," Sofia replied, her voice now eerily calm, like a storm about to break. "A line between smart humor and insult. A line between entertainment and cheapness. And tonight you've crossed every one of those lines. You've turned this into a personal attack, not just on me, but on everyone watching who expects respect and authenticity." She looked into Jimmy's eyes, as if seeing through him. You think I'm not smart enough to see through your game? I may speak with an accent, but I'm not naive. I may laugh a lot, but I'm not easy. I come from a rich, proud culture, not a collection of stereotypes for you to exploit. You think you can use cheap jabs to belittle my work with Dios mío, coffee? A project I've poured sweat, tears, and my heart into, to support the farmers of my homeland? Sofia's words weren't just a personal stand. They were a powerful challenge to the entertainment industry, where authenticity is often sacrificed for cheap viral moments. Jimmy's confidence was gone. He breathed heavily, hands clenched under the desk. His eyes flicked to the rating monitor, and though the numbers were soaring, he knew this wasn't the entertainment he prided himself on. This was a real confrontation, and he was losing. You say you're doing your job, Sofia continued, her voice now not just angry but laced with deep disappointment. What is your job? To turn guests into mindless puppets for you to pull strings? Do you think a woman over 50, with a celebrated career, who raised a successful child, has nothing to offer but gossip about love or ridiculous TV stunts? Jimmy, his pride stung, slightly recoiled, but his eyes flared with intense irritation. He decided to push back. Sofia, listen, I think you're misunderstanding me, or maybe you're being overly sensitive tonight. This is a talk show, we all know how it works. I'm just trying to keep things fun. Or maybe, he smirked with biting sarcasm, trying to regain his usual mockery. You're trying to create a memorable moment for yourself by blowing this out of proportion. You're not the first to pull that card. Don't act like you're completely innocent here. Sofia's eyes flashed with genuine fury. She took a deep breath, maintaining remarkable composure. I'm not creating drama, Jimmy. I'm speaking the truth. I came here to talk about something I'm truly passionate about, something that demands seriousness and respect. That's Dios mío, coffee. A project I've poured blood, sweat, and tears into, not to be turned into a clown in your circus for you to poke fun at. And aren't you using it to show off? To prove you're more than just a pretty face and a funny voice? Jimmy shot back immediately, his tone dripping with disdain, trying to undermine Sofia's motives. Come on, Sofia. Don't sanctify everything. Everyone wants to build a good image. You think you're different? Or that you're the first entrepreneur to launch a coffee brand? The world is full of passionate projects like that, but few amount to anything. You think your project will succeed just because you're Sofia Vergara and you're sitting here playing the crusader? I'm different because I don't need dirty tricks to achieve it, Sofia retorted, her voice echoing through the studio, unwavering. You say I'm creating a memorable moment? You're right. I'm creating a moment for people to see that. In this Hollywood there are still those who stand up for authenticity, for self-respect, instead of bowing to your cheap amusement. Who do you think I am? A foolish Latina who only flaunts her body for attention? You forget that behind this appearance, behind this voice, is a mind, a heart, and a soul. I don't need you to teach me how to do business, Jimmy. I was making money when you were still hosting local shows. Jimmy scoffed, trying to downplay Sofia's words. Oh soul, that sounds a bit much, Sofia. This is a talk show, not a philosophy lecture. The audience wants to laugh, to be entertained, not hear speeches about your authenticity or soul. Don't you think you're overdoing it? Turning a small joke into a battle for humanity? He turned to the audience, trying to win them over, his eyes challenging. Do you all want to hear Sofia talk about her soul, or do you want a funnier story? Anyone want to see her do that hot salsa dance again? Some clapped for Jimmy, but the overwhelming roar was for Sofia. The crowd was clearly split, but the majority leaned toward the woman fighting on stage. Sofia! 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 The chant echoed, drowning out the background music in Jimmy's voice. Jimmy Kimmel looked around, his face pale, but the anger in his eyes grew sharper. He had completely lost control. His gaze flicked to the rating monitor, and though the numbers were skyrocketing, this wasn't the success he wanted. This was a PR disaster if left unchecked. This is unprofessional, Sofia, Jimmy said, his voice hoarse from trying to shout over the crowd's noise. You can't do this on live TV. You're ruining my show. You're turning this interview into a mess just because of your ego. You're acting like a spoiled child." Sofia turned to face Jimmy directly, her eyes filled with contempt. "Ruining your show. Jimmy, I'm not ruining your show. You ruined it yourself with your disrespect and shallowness. You turned this stage from a place for sharing into a cheap circus, where human value is traded for views and fake laughter. You say I'm acting like a spoiled child? No, Jimmy, I'm acting like an adult, someone with self-respect, standing up for what I believe in, something you seem to have forgotten how to do." She took a deep breath, her eyes blazing with absolute resolve. "I'm here to talk about a legacy," Sofia continued, her voice commanding, authoritative, allowing no rebuttal from Jimmy. "A legacy of hard work, self-respect, and being true to myself, not to be a joke for you and people like you. Do you understand, Jimmy? There are values that money or fame can't buy. Respect is one of them. You can't buy my respect, just as you can't buy the respect of the millions watching who support authenticity. You think you can use cheap jabs to belittle my work with Dios mío. Coffee? A project I've poured sweat, tears, and my heart into to help my homeland's farmers? You think I don't see what you're doing, Jimmy? You're trying to turn my personal story into cheap spice for your rancid dish." Sofia took another deep breath, her piercing blue-green eyes still radiating unwavering determination. She had said all she needed to say, and now it was time to act. She didn't need a hollow apology or promises of improvement. She needed a clear affirmation of her worth, and she would do it herself. "I've said what I needed to say, Jimmy," Sofia declared, her voice no longer shouting or arguing. It was calm, powerful, ringing clearly amid the fading cheers of the audience, like an undeniable conclusion. "I didn't come here to be disrespected by you or anyone else. I came to share something meaningful, to introduce a project I believe in, a piece of my soul." She looked directly into the main camera, as if speaking to the millions watching on their screens. "My audience, who have loved me for years, deserve to see authenticity. They deserve respect. They didn't come here for antics. They came to be inspired, to see real stories. And tonight, what you did, Jimmy, was an insult not just to me but to them." Jimmy took a step forward, raising his arm slightly as if to interrupt, to salvage some shred of dignity. "All right, Sofia. I think we've had a very candid conversation. Our show's time, your show's time isn't my problem, Jimmy." Sofia cut in, her eyes sharp as knives. "Your problem is your disrespect." She gave him no chance to continue. "You don't deserve my time," Sofia went on, each word like a hammer driving nails into Jimmy's career at that moment. "And honestly, you don't deserve your audience, who gave their precious time to watch an unprofessional, shallow show like this." A hush fell over the studio. No one dared speak. The director and producers in the control room were frantic, shouting in panic, demanding Jimmy cut to commercial or do anything to stop this. But Jimmy stood frozen, immobilized by Sofia's words. Sofia gently placed her microphone on the table, not with anger, but with deliberate, graceful finality. The sound of the mic touching the table echoed in the silence. She rose from the sofa, her eyes never leaving Jimmy. No rush, no haste. She was in complete control of her every move. "I'm done here," she said, her final tone carrying a hint of pity for Jimmy. "And I won't waste another second in a place where authenticity is twisted into a joke. Maybe you should find another guest, Jimmy. Someone willing to dance to your tune, even if they have no soul." With that, Sofia turned her back on Jimmy, striding toward the stage wings. No looking back, no hesitation. Her walk was not hurried but exuded poise and confidence. Her flowing hair swayed lightly with each step. Her stunning gown no longer just highlighted her beauty but underscored the regal, formidable presence of a true queen. As Sofia took a few steps, two large security guards suddenly appeared from the wings, likely under urgent orders from the producers to stop her. But Sofia gave them a single glance, her eyes sharp as blades. Without a word, that look was enough to make them falter. One guard reached out, but the other grabbed his arm, sensing the danger in Sofia's gaze. Though tasked with maintaining order, they were utterly subdued by her commanding presence and cold fury. Maggie, Sofia's assistant, who had watched the entire ordeal from backstage with a racing heart, rushed forward, arms outstretched to embrace Sofia. Maggie's eyes were filled with worry and admiration. Sofia gave her a slight nod, a faint fleeting smile crossing her lips. It wasn't a smile of triumph, but of liberation, of having done what was right. The backstage door closed behind Sofia, leaving a humiliated Jimmy Kimmel standing alone on stage, still holding his mic, the sombrero and bikini cutout abandoned on the table. The studio erupted after that moment. The audience, stunned for a few seconds, suddenly stood in unison. Thunderous applause exploded, mixed with cheers and shouts of Sofia's name. Sofia! 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 The large screen behind Jimmy switched to a commercial at lightning speed. But the chaos in the studio didn't subside. Jimmy, his face flushed, threw his mic onto the table and stormed backstage, leaving the audience still cheering and buzzing with discussion. It was a rare sight, one of Hollywood's most powerful hosts, completely losing control on his own stage. Social media exploded instantly. X was flooded with hashtags Sofia stands tall, Queen Vergara, not a prop, and Kimmel is over. Clips of the confrontation were uploaded seconds after the event, quickly racking up millions of views. Every sharp line from Sofia was quoted and shared widely, becoming powerful memes spreading at breakneck speed. Sofia Vergara just did what everyone wants to do to Jimmy Kimmel, one user wrote, attaching a clip of Sofia rejecting the sombrero. She didn't just stand up for herself, she spoke for every Latin artist stereotyped, another commented. This isn't a scandal, it's an iconic moment. Sofia exposed the ugly truth of an industry that disrespects women. TV critics, known for their harshness, chimed in. Jimmy Kimmel's performance tonight was a textbook case of talk show decline, a prominent writer from The Hollywood Reporter noted. He crossed the line not once but repeatedly, and Sofia Vergara, whom he thought he could manipulate, schooled him live on air. This is a stain he won't easily wash off. Other celebrities began to speak out. Many of Sofia's peers, especially Latina artists, voiced strong support. Eva Longoria tweeted, "Proud of you, Sofia. You spoke for so many of us." Salma Hayek posted a photo of Sofia with the caption, "A true queen." Even celebrities who had appeared on Kimmel's show and endured his antics began sharing Sofia's story, hinting at their own less than pleasant experiences. The Latin American community and women worldwide turned Sofia Vergara into a new icon. They saw not just a famous actress but a powerful woman standing against disrespect and stereotypes. This confrontation transcended a mere talk show. It sparked a broader debate about dignity, cultural identity, and women's power in the entertainment industry. Major news outlets, from CNN to BBC, The New York Times to Le Monde, covered the story. They not only recounted the clash but analyzed its deeper meaning, the shift in how celebrities interact with media, and the pressures artists face to fit into stereotypes. Media experts predicted this would be a turning point, forcing talk shows to rethink how they treat guests. Meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel's office was in chaos. Phones rang non-stop, emails piled up, sponsors expressed concern. Though ratings spiked during Sofia's outburst, the long-term risk of losing credibility was immense. Emergency meetings were called. Jimmy, known for his boldness and confidence, faced an unprecedented wave of criticism. He was at the center of a media storm he had created. That night, Sofia Vergara didn't just leave a studio. She stepped out of the shadow of a stereotypical entertainment image, leaving an indelible mark. What Jimmy Kimmel and others called a scandal became a moment that redefined her career and status. The public, who loved Sofia for her humor and beauty, now admired her for her courage, integrity, and powerful voice. She became an icon far beyond a captivating actress, inspiring millions of women to stand up for their worth. In the days and weeks that followed, support for Sofia only grew stronger. In-depth analyses of the incident flooded every platform, from mainstream media to personal blogs. No one called it Sofia's scandal anymore, but rather Sofia's moment, or Sofia's manifesto. Media and sociology experts dissected the event as a prime example of a star using their platform to challenge unspoken rules and deep-seated stereotypes in entertainment. The Latin community worldwide turned Sofia into a hero. They saw in her not just a successful woman, but the embodiment of national pride, daring to speak out against the trivialization of culture and identity. Online forums were filled with personal stories of women inspired by Sofia to confront disrespect in their own work or lives. For Jimmy Kimmel, the real consequences were just beginning to surface. Though his show's ratings spiked that night, his personal and brand reputation took a severe hit. A boycott movement emerged among viewers, and major sponsors voiced deep concerns. Kimmel issued a public apology, though it felt forced and insincere, failing to quell public outrage. His show underwent a content cleanse, toning down offensive jokes and attempting to rebuild a relatable, authentic image Sofia had criticized. But the scar from that night would haunt him and his show for a long time. For Sofia Vergara, her career not only remained unscathed but soared in a deeper, more meaningful direction. She received countless offers for high art film and TV projects, roles demanding emotional depth rather than just her appearance. Most significantly, her Dios Mío coffee project became a phenomenon. From a new brand, it transformed into a symbol of resilience and true quality. Global sales skyrocketed. People bought Sofia's coffee not just for its premium taste but for the story behind it, a story of courage, defending personal worth, and a Colombian woman daring to speak the truth. Major retailers competed to distribute her product, and top business magazines praised her vision and leadership. Sofia Vergara left behind a legacy that goes beyond comedic roles or captivating beauty. She proved that a star doesn't need to bow to the entertainment industry's trivial demands. She showed that an artist's true value lies in their dignity, authentic voice, and ability to inspire. She is not just a successful Latina actress. She is a warrior, an icon of self-respect, someone who used her own story to reshape the conversation about women, cultural identity, and the true meaning of entertainment in the modern world. Sofia Vergara's legacy is not just box office records or prestigious awards, but the courage to be herself, to stand up for what's right, and to leave a powerful reminder that respect is never something to be mocked. She truly rose above a scandal to become a living legend. The story of the confrontation between Sofia Vergara and Jimmy Kimmel vividly reflects the tensions and deep-seated issues in American society today. It was not just a clash between two individuals, but a microcosm of larger struggles over respect, prejudice, and the power of an individual's voice in a culture that champions freedom, yet often falls into stereotypes. We see Jimmy Kimmel representing a significant portion of American media and society, those who tend to stereotype others, particularly minorities, or those with distinct traits. His persistent jabs at Sofia with the sombrero, or suggesting she shake her hips, were not just tactless, but an act of trivializing Latin culture and identity, turning it into a source of amusement. This mirrors how immigrants or minorities in the U.S. frequently face insensitive or deliberately offensive remarks about their origins, accents, or appearances, being forced into specific roles, rather than recognized for their true worth. Sofia Vergara, in this story, becomes a model for the most important lesson, daring to stand up for self-respect and personal value. Her transformation from an easygoing star to a sharp, resolute woman when pushed past her limits is a testament to the need for individuals to set their boundaries. She didn't just defend herself, she spoke for an entire community, demonstrating the power of refusing to be used as a tool or target of disrespect. The lesson here is to know when to say no, when to assert your core values, no matter the pressures or temptations from society, media, or even friends and colleagues. Don't let anyone define you based on shallow stereotypes. Instead, create your own legacy with authenticity and courage. If Sofia Vergara's story of courage and conviction has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on more in-depth analyses about Hollywood and life. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.